pushes our session and conducted by global renowned professionals to develop all kinds of fields and to promote the education of their abilities and personalities. Spreading knowledge is crucial for the Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision, so we try to understand the needs of today's generation and to serve them with good research and practice methods. We must have a genuine concern for the learners. We represent more diversity, growth, and innovation are required. To lead a session with professionalism, passion, and integrity, IGP members are committed to offering effective best quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill levels and value. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable to us. Thank you. Before I move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable to us. Thank you. Moving to the next with your continuous support, we have already completed 1476 webinars successfully. Wow. Moving to the next with your continuous support, we have already completed 1476 webinars successfully. Dear IGP speakers, participants, and well-wishers, at this moment, this is a very important message for you all. We changed and designed our website www.eduigp.com. On this website, we have surprises for everyone. Hope you will be benefited. We already launched our new website, or you can find all our previous activities together with lots of new features. But one strong point is that without an account or login, you can't enjoy our services. So create your account for once with your proper information. Note that with your proper information, you will enjoy all features. With mismatched data, you can't do anything here. From now on, you have to participate in live quiz competition on our website. We request Slido. You have to join directly on our website. Now you can check all of our previous webinars, 1420 plus with verified certificates. Now it's easier and time oriented. Because after this session, we will not provide you with any code for certification. You have to take part in one exam. After that, if you pass, you will receive your certificate. Otherwise, not. But you can take part in normal, take part in an exam unlimited till you pass. If you are an IGP speaker, you can download all your previous certificates, get your certificate. If you are a host of IGP, you can download your certificate of graduate. If you are an online quiz competition winner, you can download that also. If you are selected for lifetime membership, then you can download a certificate of lifetime membership easily. Beside this, if you participate in any award function which organize common support with IGP, you can download that also. You can instantly prepare and download 50 types of instant certificates from our website within a minute. Certificate of Global Professional Membership, Certificate of Global Influencer during the pandemic, Certificate of Active Knowledge Seeker, Certificate of Social Activities during the pandemic, Certificate of Active and IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2020, Certificate of Active and IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2021, Certificate of Active and IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2022, Certificate of Participation in Series 1, Authentic Assessment in Teaching Learning, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 2, Teaching English as a Foreign Language and Assessment, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 3, Digital Classroom Engagement Tool, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 4, The New Trends in Education, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 5, Upskilling Original Leadership and Managerial Skills. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 6, Trends and Innovation in Mathematics Education, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 7, Research a Comprehensive Approach, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 8, Art in Teaching a Special Program in the Arts. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 9, 21st Century in Tools and Teaching Mathematics, Certificate of IGP Corporate Ambassador, Certificate of IGP Campus Ambassador, which you can prepare and download within a minute. From now on, you can participate in 1000 plus international level quizzes with verified e-certificate. Teaching tips for teachers, health tips for parents, health tips for teenage, gamification tools for teachers. You can join IGP Alumni. You can check out our 50 plus premium services websites for free and many more. Dear IGP users, we promised previously, but lack of technical issues, we are late sending you on time. This is a great opportunity to collect your previous credentials and solve all issues from our website. Now you can enroll, reset password, everything. You can check your dashboard for all webinar details. It's a cordial request to you check all buttons and pages on our website. Surely I can say you will be benefited. Thank you. But note that without an account or login, you can't enjoy our services. At present, we are going to start our 1494 and the program name is Pedagogical Approaches and Teaching Strategies as Vanguard to Education. And our today's speaker name is Marisa Dabianco. She is from Philippines. Instructor. She is instructor, Lake Agriculture University College of Education. Hello, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, to all our participants from the different parts of the world. Good day or good evening to all of you. So, can I start, ma'am?
Ma'am, please some description about yourself for our audience.
Okay. Thank you. So, before I start, I just want to extend my gratitude to all of the heads of this organization, the Institute of Global Professionals, for considering me to be one of your speakers. And of course, to Tarlac Agricultural University for allowing me to take this opportunity to share my knowledge about the topic, pedagogical approaches and teaching strategies as Vanguard to education. So let me present my slide, please.
Yes,
Wait
ma'am.
for a while.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now you can start your presentation.
Okay. So, as what I am saying, no, before I proceed, allow me to introduce myself. I am Marisa Didi Pianco, a licensed professional teacher. I completed my Master of Arts in Education with a major of Educational Management, and currently I am pursuing my PhD degree with a major of Development Education. So at present, I am an instructor at Tarlac Agricultural University, Philippines, under the College of Education. So I am looking forward for a productive hour for every one of us present on this webinar. So at this time, um, allow me to present this link. So this is the link for your participants profile form. May I ask everyone to please fill out this form. So this will serve as your attendance for this webinar, other than the link provided by the IGP. So I will post the link in the comment section later for your access. Okay, so at this point, let me proceed to my topic, pedagogical approaches and teaching strategies as vanguard to education. So here is the outline of my discussion. First, we will talk about pedagogy. So what this pedagogy is all about. So we will answer that question later. I will also present to you the different pedagogical approaches. I will discuss them one by one for us to better understand what are these approaches all about. We will also talk about the different teaching strategies that can be applied under the different pedagogical approaches, and at the same time we will find out the importance of these approaches in teaching and learning process. So pedagogy. So let us define first what is pedagogy. So as it says here, pedagogy comes from the combination of the word peda, which means child, and goji, which means science and art of teaching. Combining them together, we can say that pedagogy is the science and art of teaching young learners or children. So, from the definition, it says that it is an art and science of teaching. Why science of teaching? It is because it usually deals with the knowledge of theories, learning, and instructional strategies. And at the same time, it is also an art of teaching because as teachers, we need to put the theories into action or into practice. So, meaning to say, when we are talking about pedagogy, it's not enough that we just only know the different theories about teaching and learning strategies, but as teachers, we should know how to perform or put the theory into action or into practice. Yes, there are a lot of available strategies, techniques, methodologies, or approaches that can be used in teaching. We have learned a lot of this during our college days. But if we will not execute, perform, if we will not put all of this into practice, they will just remain theories forever. So, according to Henry Gerox, a scholar, cultural critic, and one of the pioneers of public pedagogy and cultural studies, he wrote that pedagogy is not about training. Instead, it is about critically educating people to be self reflective, capable of critically addressing their relationship with others and with the larger world. That's why educators or we as teachers should become more visionary in our purposes and become critical in our pedagogies. So, as part of our role as teacher, we can say that we are critical agent who bring issues of community, fairness, and social integrity to the educational arena. So, pedagogy is formed by the teaching beliefs of every educators and their concerns on the interplay between culture and different ways of learning. Nowadays, for you to be called effective teachers, you should use an array of teaching strategies. What do I mean with that? So, during this time, a pen and paper, a chalk and board, a teacher and stick in front of the learners are no longer effective. Gone are the days where the teacher disseminate knowledge to their students. And gone are the days where students would act like a sponges who absorb water, but once full, those absorbed water will fall. That's the educational setup during the time that maybe I am at the elementary and secondary level. But in our generation nowadays, this kind of setup in education will be no longer applicable. So, comparing the old times to the present time, there is a big transformation in education. Today, we are at the 21st century where we are handling learners who are called to be the 21st century learners, where we are handling learners who want vibrancy, energy, animation, dynamism, and collaboration. Learners who are technology savvy, learners who are very curious about the things around them. And since we are the field of teaching during this time, we supposedly called ourselves as 21st century teachers. But the question is, do we possess the characteristics of 21st century teachers? I hope all of our viewers' answer is yes. I believe that many of us here in this webinar, whatever part of the world you are in, you have already equipped yourselves with varied strategies in teaching. And you are proudly claiming that you have the characteristics of a 21st century teacher. And since you are watching right now, it only means that you are willing and open to learn more techniques and strategies to improve your pedagogical knowledge and teaching methodologies. Okay, so now to enrich our knowledge about the topic, let me present to you some of the different pedagogical approaches and some of the strategies under these approaches that we can be used in teaching different subject area or courses. So some of these are the constructivist approach, the collaborative approach, reflective approach, integrative, and the inquiry based approach. So, in today's education system, the heart of pedagogy is eliciting responses that demonstrate understanding. So, particularly, these different approaches can help us to attain the particular target of pedagogy. Now, what are these approaches all about? So, first, what is constructivist approach? So, as it says here, it is based on background knowledge connecting to a new knowledge. So, constructivist approach is focused on student questions and interests. They build on what students already know, and at the same time, its focus is also on interactive learning. That is why this approach can be considered as student-centered approach. So, according to Jean Piaget, constructivist theory, uh, from the theory of Piaget, no, the constructivist theory says there that knowledge is constructed when the learner is able to draw his or her previous ideas from his or her own experiences. And then they will connect them to new ideas. So if you are aware with the concepts of this one, the schema, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration by Piaget, this is the concept of it. So let's have a short review with the topic. No, schema are usually, when we say schema, these are usually the knowledge that help us interpret and understand the world. So assimilation, on the other hand, is the process of taking in new information, which is usually come from our pre-existing knowledge or beliefs. While accommodation is the adaptation involves in changing our existing schema as a result of our new experiences or new information that we usually get from our environment. On the other hand, equilibration is the process where we are trying to balance between assimilation and accommodation. Again, assimilation, this is the process of taking in new information, and the accommodation is the process of altering our existing schema to a new one or to a new knowledge. So, based on the theory, as people experience the world and reflect upon those experiences, they build their own representations and incorporate new informations into their pre-existing knowledge. In short, young learners or young children learn more by constructing knowledge based from their experience rather than from adults telling them about the world or dictating them what to do and how to do things. Now, the question is, how can we say that our teaching strategy is in line with the constructivist approach? So by this time, let us get familiarized with the different strategies in teaching under this constructivist approach. So one of the most common example or use as teaching strategy is the teaching by asking strategy. So this technique is one of the most important strategy that can be used in teaching. And I believe that every teacher is present on this webinar is doing this strategy. Actually, this can be used in all pedagogical approaches. Okay? In addition to, this strategy is really different from the traditional way of teaching. So, when we say traditional teaching strategy, usually it is classified as teacher-centered or content-centered. But as I have mentioned a while ago, constructivist approach is a student-centered approach. So this teaching by asking strategy under constructivist approach has different way of delivering a lesson or the execution of the lesson. So I provided you here a topic or an example, a topic in science subject in the primary grades. So for example, if our topic is about matter, particularly the three states of matter, which are the solid, the liquid, or the gas. Now, how are we going to present this topic to the class in a constructivist manner using this strategy, teaching by asking? So, first and foremost, we need to understand that on this approach, we need to let our students to construct the knowledge and focus on the concept of student centered. So instead of providing or giving all the necessary information that the students should learn about the three states of matter, it is better if we will provide questions to the students and let us allow them to think and analyze until they will come up to the right concept, or they will be the one to give us the necessary information that they can get from the lesson. So in teaching by asking strategy, we will not just merely saying that, okay, this is a chair, this is a book, this is an apple. These are matter that is in a solid state. Instead, we will let the students construct their own knowledge out of these pictures. So, um, the better way of introducing the lesson, rather than telling that this is a chair, this is a book, this is an apple, is to ask students about their prior knowledge about the different pictures that they can see from set A, set B, and set C. After asking their prior knowledge, we can then ask if what are their experiences about these things. So maybe they can tell something about the uses of these objects, or where do they can see these objects, or they can share their experiences about these objects. So at this point of time, the students should gain confidence in sharing their thoughts or experiences to the whole class. So we, as teachers, have the task to encourage our students to share and speak what is in their mind. And of course, we should listen to their answers. And if necessary, we give supplement. After listening to them, we can then go back to the pictures and ask them to observe each set. Then, ask what are the common characteristics of these pictures. So, at this time, they will mention some characteristics that are similar to each group. So, in identifying similarities, they are constructing new concepts and knowledge by their own. And this is the time we can present and we can elaborate the concept of solid, liquid, and gas as a state of matter for the learners to better understand the topic. Now, with this kind of strategy, we allow students to construct their own knowledge based on their experiences and observations. Teacher is not the one who give the characteristics, the use or the identification of each group, but all of this should come from the students. That's why the definition of teacher nowadays is not a knowledge provider, but we are called facilitator, because the main purpose of teaching nowadays is to guide learners and develop their critical thinking and reasoning ability. That's why passive learning is already eliminated in the context. Okay? So, other than teaching by asking strategy, there are other strategies that can be used in teaching under this um, constructivist approach. So we can also conduct experimentation, field trip, film viewing, and a research project. In conducting experiments, the students will learn how to hypothesize and observe critically. And they will also learn the step by step procedures before concluding something. So they will be the one performing the activity, and by doing it, they will formulate their own conclusion, their own concepts, or their own ideas with the topic. We can also allow them to share their conclusion to the whole class. Of course, as teachers, it is important that we give feedback to their answers. So if it is correct or if it is not, we can there, and if they got the wrong answer, we can direct them with the uh, correct one or correct conclusion, because not all students can follow and arrive with the correct conclusion. We cannot avoid that. Some students cannot follow all the procedures given to them, for somehow mistake is also unavoidable. So further discussion after conducting the experiment is necessary, because through discussion, we can correct their misconceptions and can direct them to the right one. Other strategy is the field trip. So this strategy is one of the most exciting and favorite of the learners, because the this is their chance to be exposed to the real world context of what they are studying. So it is their chance to experience and witness by themselves the necessary things that we are trying to convey. For example, if our topic is about ecosystem, so we can bring them to the school garden, to the forest area near the school, or if there's a fish pond near your campus. So by doing those, students can create their own ideas or concept about ecosystem. They have the opportunity to witness and to encounter the things that we are trying to convey, and not just merely imagining the different things that we are uttering during the discussion. So, film viewing or watching educational videos is another one. This activity can bring visual context, and of course, it can also bring another sense in the learning experiences of the students. So, this strategy can be useful not just only to the higher level, but most specifically to the primary grades. Okay, other one is the research project. This activity can enhance students' ability to solve problem and their ability to think critically. In this activity, we can allow students to search or find for a topic suited to their own interest. Then, we will provide them ample time to study and scrutinize what they have searched, and they will be given time to present and discuss their findings to the whole class. So, other than this, there are a lot more teaching strategies under constructivist approach. So, these are just only few examples. Now, let's proceed to the next approach, which is the collaborative approach. So, collaborative approach can also be called group work, since this approach enables individuals to work in pairs, in groups, or whole teams. However, not all group work are collaborative. There are some group activity that each member have their particular tasks or part to do. So every member need to focus on their assigned tasks. In this case, we cannot say that this is an example of collaborative approach, because on this group activity, there is no collaboration. When we are talking about collaboration, there are always the involvement of social interaction. So, from this social interaction, learners can actively share their own concepts, ideas, and knowledge to their groupmates or teammates to solve problems or to complete the given tasks. So, on this pedagogical approach, it is very important that learners should actively share and compare their ideas in order to co-construct their new knowledge and can apply it in a real scenario. So, based from this, we can say that one of the important concept when we are talking about collaboration is that it always involves communication, participation in activities, and interaction. Okay? Now, how can we apply collaboration in teaching? So, based on the given concept I have presented, we can use this approach in different subject areas. One example of teaching strategy is the small group discussion. Okay. So, small group discussion offers students the chance to interact with their group, to listen and talk about the given topic to them. Effective small group discussion is guided by clear directions. Usually, these clear directions comes from us, from the teacher, right? And other one is it comes from the questions being raised by the students. For example, the lesson about force, motion, and energy. So we can present um, any story that has something to do with force, motion, and energy. For example, is this the story about the kitten and the ball. So the story goes like this. There was a kitten named Timmy who was walking on a balance beam. At the end of the beam, there was a ball. Now, what happened to Timmy and the ball? So, as you observe, the story is open ended, right? So, after presenting the story, we can group our students maybe into 5 groups with 3 to 4 members, depending on the number of the class, and tell them to have a small group discussion on how the story will end up. Of course, it is necessary that we provide guide questions directing them to the topic about force, motion, and energy. Because if not, we will be in trouble at the end. It's look like we are sending them in a place that they do not know and we did not provide any directions at all. So the expected outcome is they will get lost, right? So going back, we can use questions, guide questions to direct them at the correct path. Now, we can use these guide questions as you can see in our presentation. The first one, how are you going to describe the motion of Timmy while walking on the beam? What do you think will happen to the ball? Why? So, discuss what your group mates, how force, motion, and energy happened in the story. With your group mates, construct the best ending of the story. So, as you observe, the guide questions is really helpful in directing the students with the concept of the main topic, which are the force, the motion, and the energy. So, after presenting the activity, they can start working with their group mates where they can communicate and share their ideas about force, motion, and energy. They can work collaboratively for them to answer the guide questions and get the correct knowledge or concept about the topic. So it is necessary also that we give enough time for them to discuss with their group mates on how they can answer and formulate the best ending of the story. So while the activity is going on, we teachers can roam around checking how their discussion goes and direct or guide them for them to get the correct skills and knowledge we want them to gain from the activity. So our assistance or guidance is important every time that we provide activities to our students. So as much as possible, once that we give activities to them, we need to stay with them. Okay? Another strategy that can be used under this approach is that think, pair, share. On the first part of this activity, students must work independently. Then, after giving ample time to work on by their own, they will communicate their ideas to their peers or to their groups. They will collect all the ideas and responses. Afterwards, we will allow them to summarize their discussion to a larger group or to the whole class. So, one of the good point of this strategy is it requires that students think, analyze, and act. It requires them to formulate their ideas and share it with their peers instead of passively listening to the teacher. Another is peer teaching. So, peer teaching is a strategy where there is an assigned student to be a student teacher and a student to be a student learner. This strategy is very effective means for both the student as teacher and student as learner. So how is this being done? Of course, we as teachers, we know the capabilities and performance of our learners. We know who are the high performers and the low performers in the class. So, in doing this peer teaching, we can assign the high performer student to be a student teacher for a student for the student who classified as low performer. So in this strategy, the student teacher will teach the student learner. So there is an informal teaching and learning process being done between the two students. In this strategy, both students are mutually benefited. Now the question is how? It goes like this. Student learner learns from the student teacher, and the student teacher gain mastery of the lesson, gain confidence and self-esteem because of the trust given to him or her by his or her teacher. Okay? Other teaching strategy is the PBL or the problem-based learning. So, PBL is a strategy where the teacher provide a specific problem to the students. Usually, this is done by group so that the exchanging of ideas is still there. So the group needs to understand and deliberate their ideas to the problem to come up with the best solution. Because the expected output to this kind of strategy is to propose the best response or solution to the problem. So brainstorming is necessary. Okay, and the last strategy I included under this approach is the jigsaw strategy. So, how is this strategy being done? In this strategy, the teacher needs to provide a problem for the students, but the difference between this strategy to the problem-based learning is that this strategy, the teacher will break the problem into chunks or into smaller pieces or parts rather, and then he will distribute the parts to each group. So each group will receive a piece of problem and they'll work for it to formulate the best solution for the problem assigned to them. Afterwards, each group will present their output to the whole class for them to solve the bigger problem. Okay? The next um, the next approach is the reflective approach. Okay. So this kind of approach encourages individual to have deep thinking about their existing knowledge and capabilities. Deep thinking in a way that they are examining their knowledge beyond their existing knowledge. Why existing knowledge? Simply because we cannot think deeper about something that really don't exist in our mind, right? Okay, so this approach is not only vital to the students, but most of all is to us as teachers because it is a part of our teaching cycle. After delivering our lessons every day, we need to reflect, right? We need to reflect if we provided the necessary learnings that our students need to gain. We need to reflect on our strategies in teaching and on the way we assess our students. If they were effective, by means of reflection, we can identify if our strategies, our methodologies is effective or not. So, same as with the different things we do, reflection is necessary. That is to make us better in our profession, to make us better teacher, and at the same time, to make us a better individual. Okay, so reflective way of learning is necessary also to the students. It can be a very challenging activity to our students if they understand the purpose of reflecting and how it can benefit their learnings. Allowing our students to reflect on what they have gained or pick up during the discussion will open the value of learning experience to them. It can give them time to contemplate learning or the learning points, key points, and prove to themselves that the time they devoted to learning is valuable. So, we teachers can help students to enhance their reflective thinking skills. In what way? So, by giving activities where they can exercise their ability to reflect. One example is by giving them a reflection activity or by simply asking them question where they can reflect on. And at the same time, we can think other way on how can we allow students to reflect. We can ask them to uh, do a concept map, to draw, and out of those things, they will reflect. One of the most common part of the lesson where we can allow them to reflect is when we are at the valuing part, the values integration part. So in each subject area, we can use this kind of strategy. For example, our lesson is about living things and their environment. So the content of this lesson is very broad, right? It included everything that we see in our environment, including all the plants, the animals, human, and even the relationship of each in the ecosystem. So let's focus on the reflective type of activity. So take a look at this. In this example, I use the my finger tree activity. This is suited for primary and intermediate grades. So we can use this activity for our students to reflect on the connection of plants to human and animals and the importance of each to sustain life on Earth. On this activity, they will trace their hand on a cotton band, leaving the fingertips open. Then instruct them to draw longer branches and leaves. Now, at the bottom of their hand, instruct them to draw a soil. Each element of the finger tree represents different area of reflection. Okay, so the soil, the branch, and the leaves. Now, as their reflection activity, under leaves, ask them to reflect and write the support that they can get from plants. Under branches, ask them to reflect and write the importance and connection of plants and animals to support life. And under soil, we can ask them to reflect and write how human can support plants and other living things on earth. So from this activity, students can reflect on the importance of each living things, particularly the plants, the animals, and the human to sustain life on earth. And in addition to the importance of non-living things to sustain life also. So in this activity, students can gain a realization and about their wrongdoings. So at early age, they can correct their wrongdoings and they can appreciate the importance of every living and non-living things around them. Okay? Other teaching strategy that we can apply under this approach is writing journals or diaries, reflection paper, else, reflective case analysis, and the like. Maybe behind your mind, you have some activities that may suggest that we can use under this approach. So you can write it maybe in our comment box to share it with our viewers. Okay. Next is the integrative approach. So this approach, excuse me, may I ask for a water break for a while? Okay, sorry for that. So going back, so the next approach is the integrative approach. So this approach allows for a cross fertilization of ideas and concepts that may be new to others. So, sorry, let me go back. Ayan. It is a cross fertilization in the sense that the general concept of integrative is that students need to assemble and reprocess their ideas from the different sources by means of analyzing those ideas with the new ideas and knowledge that they gain from other sources or from what they have read. The whole point of doing this kind of approach is um, to um, to make discussed concept or shared concepts applicable to the environment where they live in. This can stretch students' mind to apply new ideas in challenging situations that they might encounter outside their classroom. So, integrating ideas is crucial because the brain has to recognize how the concepts it has acquired can be used in real world situation. So students have have wasted their time if they claim to have a good couple of days in school but are unable to put the skills they learn into practice because they are too abstract or general. Okay? So this approach can improve the creativity, adaptability, critical reasoning, and collaboration of the learners. These skills are really needed as we go through the journey of this what we call life. And those children that we cater are still at the starting point of their journey. So it's really necessary that we can provide all of these learnings to them. And always remember that the most important skills that we can teach to our students is the lifelong skills so that they will be ready to interact with the real world. An example of an integrative approach in teaching is when the teacher involves citizenship and community. A teacher can encourage students to identify a problem in their community. This can be environmental issues, traffic problems, or other issues in their community that they considered as important. Once the student find a problem that speaks to their interests, they can form a plan. Perhaps they will decide to write to editors of a local newspaper or to a congressman. If they become more interested in the problem, they can collect data and create an in-depth report with charts and graphs to display their findings. Okay? So, by this time, let's move on to the last approach that I presented a while ago. Sorry. So, the inquiry based approach. So, inquiry based approach, um, this is a pedagogical approach that invites students to explore academic content by posing, investigating, and answering questions. It is a type of active learning that encourages students to ask questions, to conduct research, and explore new ideas. But this approach is more than just asking the student a lot of questions, but it is more about igniting their curiosity and hunger for answer. So example of this might be a case study based wherein small groups are given a predefined situation to work on and use their experience to do so. Or it might involve particular problems and difficulties that the students have brought with them or prepared previously. So the value of using these scenarios is that learners can imagine themselves in the situation and can use real-time discussion to work on the answer. So this approach can help students to develop their critical thinking, problem solving, and research skills. Just like the other approaches, this is also effective and highly encouraged to use in handling 21st century learners because of the characteristics that the 21st century learners have possessed today. Okay? So, to wrap up my discussion, it is necessary to all of us teachers to be aware with the aim of education. And what is that? That is to develop literacy among our learners and to give them the chance to acquire the knowledge and skills they need in order to reach their full potential and become productive member of the society. So, knowing the different pedagogical approaches and the different teaching strategies is vital because as teachers of the 21st century, it is necessary that we possess the different characteristics of 21st century teachers to respond to the needs of the 21st century learners and meet the demands of the world. And I guess that's all the content of my discussion. I hope I provided you the right concept about pedagogy and teaching strategy. And to end up my discussion, let me use this quotation. A good education can change everyone. A good teacher can change everything. We do not need to be the best to say that we are impactful to students. We just only need is to be good to produce good education, to change anyone and everything for the best of the world. Okay, thank you so much. But before I end up, may I request everyone to please fill out the evaluation form flashed on our or on your screen. Okay, I will post this later in our comment box and I hope I can wait responses. I need this one in our university. So thank you so much for listening and for staying until the end of my topic. Thank you. Maraming salamat po. Terima kasih. Again, please find time to open this link for our evaluation for today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your rich content presentation, which can impact our knowledge seekers surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seekers can learn something new, which was our only intention. Learn and grow together, IGP knowledge seekers. Once again, thank you so much, dear ma'am, for your presentation. Now, ma'am, it's time for our question and answer session, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable ma'am, please stay with us. After a short video, we will be back in our session part 2, which is the question and answer part. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your questions in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question and answer, we have webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your questions in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question and answer, we have webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your questions in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question and answer, we have webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your questions in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question and answer, we have webinar certification and online quiz competition. Our first question is come from April Guest as Silan. Her question is: as a teacher, among the approach that you have discussed earlier, where is the best choice to use in order to enhance the learning of the student?
Okay, thank you, Ma'am April. So, there is no best for me. There is no best approach that can be applied. All of those approaches are good because all of those are focused on the students. They are all student centered, or they are all student centered. So nowadays, as it is necessary that we focus during our discussion or during um, making or doing our lesson plan. We need to focus that we give activity to the students because we need to exercise um, the students, or the we need to wait for a while. Can I compose my answer first so that I can answer you directly and correctly? So based from our given examples while ago, nowadays it is better that in teaching we focus on building the knowledge to our students. So it is necessary that um, in the classroom we give activities to the students for them to learn the skills that we want to teach them, or the knowledge that we want to convey. So all of those approaches are good, and I can say that each of those approaches can be used in classroom during the teaching and learning process. I hope I answer your question, Ma'am April.
Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your questions in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. As much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you, ma'am. I think we are covered all of our questions and topics. Once again, thank you so much, Honorable Ma'am, for your time in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topics. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable ma'am, hope to see you again with a new topic and new date. Thank you, ma'am. Take care. Honorable ma'am, before we move to the next webinar certification process, if you want to leave this studio, you can, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Good
Welcome,
evening,
ma'am.
everyone.
RGP Knowledge Seekers, it's time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we'll start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. RGP Knowledge Seekers, it's time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we'll start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Certificate instruction. Visit www.eduigp.com. Please make sure your presence on our website. Find a running session and get enrolled. After watching or completing part 1 video session, click mark as complete. Move to the next, which is the only learning test quiz passing mark 80%. If passed, back to the course again to download your certificate. If failed, to retake the quiz. Download your certificate in PDF or JPG. For your attention, I am going to share the procedure again. Certificate instruction. Visit www.eduigp.com. Please make sure your presence on our website. Sign up or sign in. Find a running session and get enrolled. After watching or completing part 1, click mark as complete. Move to the next, which is the learning test quiz passing mark 80%. If passed, back to the course again to download your certificate. If failed, to retake the quiz. Download your certificate in PDF or JPG. Dear IGP Knowledge Seekers, it's time for the most engaging part of this webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is a regular webinar activity which changes few process for online live quiz competition. Note that after live, no one can participate. Participation process. Now time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instructions carefully. Now time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instructions carefully. Visit www.eduigp.com and sign up or sign in. Without this, you can join live quiz competitions anymore. Browse the live quizzes button or given link. Find the session name and join with your logged website or user account. Click join and wait for a few minutes for others to join. Enjoy an online live quiz competition. After the quiz, you will issue certificates for the top 10s previously, which you can find on our website and official Facebook page. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. We are now start our quiz session. Already 36 people joined with us. We are now start. First question is pedagogical interest acquiring and using a range of teaching strategies. A false, be true. Correct answer is true. On the leaderboard, first person name is Alex Javier Alvarez. Next question is integrated teaching and learning approaches include which of the following strategies? A. Child-directed exploratory play. B. Locking children in chalky. Correct answer is A. On the leaderboard, first person name is Alex Javier Alvarez. Next question is pedagogical knowledge is to teach effectively and to use various teaching strategies and methods to support learning. A. True, B. False. Correct answer is true. On the leaderboard, first person name is Alex Javier Alvarez. Next question is pedagogical knowledge is the knowledge of the best practices and strategies for teaching and learning. A. True, B. False. Correct answer is true. On the leaderboard, first person name is Alex Javier Alvarez. Next question is technological pedagogical describes the relationship between use of technology and specific teaching strategies. A true, be false. Correct answer is true. On the leaderboard, first person name is Carl John Maxipov. Next question is two reasons to change our pedagogical approaches are to reflect new teaching and learning, and to incorporate more reflection on data. B. To incorporate the uses of social technology. Correct answer is B. On the leaderboard, first person name is Alex Javier Alvarez. Next question is this aspect of the lesson supports and is supported by the approaches or teaching strategies. A lesson reflection and evaluation, B. Research or theory. Correct answer is B. On the leaderboard, first person name is mice. Next question is Gen ED with changes, modifications in content, teaching methods, approaches, structures, strategies, and review mechanism, integration, the inclusion. Correct answer is B. On the leaderboard, first person name is Alex Javier Alvarez. Next question is two reasons to change our pedagogical approaches are to reflect new teaching and learning and to incorporate more reflection on data to incorporate the uses of social technology. Correct answer is B. On the leaderboard, first person name is Alex Javier Alvarez. Next question is identification of language elements and pedagogical approaches. A. Hutchinson and Waters, Marijana Marjanovic's Apostolovisky. Correct answer is B. On the leaderboard, first person name is Alex Javier Alvarez. Congratulations to our webinar online quiz competition winners top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes to finalize the result, and after that we will issue our online quiz competition certificates on our website and official Facebook page. Congratulations to our webinar online quiz competition winners top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes to finalize the result, and after that we will issue our online quiz competition certificates on our website and official Facebook page. Congratulations to our webinar online quiz competition winners top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes to finalize the result, and after we will issue our online quiz competition certificates on our website and official Facebook page. And the end of our session, we can say properly feed your skill, never stop learning because life never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the end like button, again wants to thank all IGP knowledge seekers for your active participation as always. See you in the next session. Thank you.